All right, so welcome to both of you. Nice to have you back, Kim, Elaine, for another Art of Letting Go live session. It's been a while, so really good to see you both. Let's jump into today's emails, shall we? Daily quote, which will lead us nicely into today's workbook lesson. 45 we're on to. So I'm going to share my screen. If you can just read that quote, either of you, Man's Desire. This is the headline quote to lead us into it. Elaine, if you can read that.
Yeah.
Kindly.
Man's desire is to know the mind of God.
And obviously, man is the old way of saying humanity. People's desire is to know the mind of God, which is everyone's deepest desire. We have all kinds of other desires the ego gives us, but in truth, we all want to know this mind of God because that mind of God is who we are. This is the quest for self-knowledge, for self-discovery, for self-realization, knowing who you really are, which is in all the spiritual teachings and paths, is a big part of it. By a guy called Jared Brock, who is a Canadian author, expresses the true desire of every person, because at the core of our being, we still know who we truly are. And so we'll never be truly satisfied with anything less than this knowledge. If we try and content ourselves with something lesser, then we always experience pain. So the ego gives us many purposes in the world, but if it's not to know the mind of God, i.e., who we are, then it's never going to satisfy us. That leads us quite nicely into the into today's lesson and this particular recorded session. It's about how to see with love's eyes and accept the gifts of the kingdom. Definitely worth watching or listening to that. Key message of the lesson and text reading taken together is that we learn to see everything through the eyes of love by being vigilant against the ego or belief in separation and letting its thoughts and emotions go whenever we become aware of them. So we must be vigilant against this belief. That's the only way out of it. We have to exercise vigilance and judgment, right-minded judgment against the ego in order to let it go and overcome it. You can't let something go if you're not vigilant against it. You see that that's how it works. So some even course teachers will say, well, there's no judgment whatsoever. That's not true. You have to judge against the ego and therefore for the Holy Spirit in order to make a decision between these two alternative voices and thought systems. And when we do that, we automatically accept the gifts of the kingdom. If we choose right-mindedly, we accept the gifts of the kingdom or the blessings of being in a state of pure formless awareness in our alternative art of letting go terminology. So the benefits of this vigilance are that we experience blessings, we experience miracles, we experience the rewards of God, as one of the text sections of the text calls them, which bless us our moment by moment experience of this world in profound ways that are difficult to quantify, but more peace, more love, more joy, a greater sense of purpose, deeper meaning in your life, better relationships, better health. Elaine, you mentioned, since you started doing the program 2 years ago, that your migraines disappeared,
Yeah.
which
Hmm.
you have no idea why, but they've just gone. Well, that's the kind of thing that can just happen when you do the spiritual work. You didn't do the program to get rid of your migraines. It just came as
Yeah.
a byproduct, as a consequence of this process of letting go and of spiritual growth that you've consciously chosen to do. So it's about letting go of the blocks to the awareness of this pure awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, as we call it. So we perceive only the gifts of unconditional love and peace that pure formless awareness brings. And you have to be vigilant against the gifts of the ego to do that, because the gifts of the ego are sin, guilt, fear, attack thoughts, pain, suffering, sickness, and death. And those are all too common in this world. Very easy to accept those. Without a vigilant mind, without a disciplined mind, then that is going to start to become, especially as you get older, your default thought system. You start accepting all of that as reality, don't you? And it all gets pretty dark and desperate as you get older, if you allow that process to happen, which is why we need to train our minds to be vigilant. So you can watch or listen to that or download it. There's video, there's a podcast, definitely recommend it. It was a good session, if I recall. Brings us to where we are now, which is in the live session. And let's have a look at our lesson for today, which is lesson 45. God is the mind with which I think. So let's record this. All right, so Kim, if you read the original and the alternative version of the key idea, and then we'll go into read paragraph 1 for us as well. This is an intro to the idea.
Today's idea holds the key.
Right, let's just read the
Oh, sorry.
idea first. God is the mind with which I think, and then the alternative.
God is the mind with which I think. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is the awareness in which I think.
Well, that's just pause it there. That's quite a subtle but a profound change, isn't it? God is the mind with which I think. Really, we're just saying this is an awareness within which you think. This awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love, is God. And mind, I've translated as awareness. So this whole awareness, this pure formless awareness, which we call God, is the awareness in which I think. I cannot think outside of that awareness because this awareness is all encompassing. If I consciously acknowledge the link with that awareness, then my thoughts are going to be in alignment with this awareness, which is really the whole idea of the course, that you bring your conscious thoughts and then your words and your actions, your behavior into alignment with this underlying awareness, which is very profound. That's transformation, that's healing, that's awakening, that's enlightenment. And possibly the translation just makes that more clearer than God is the mind with which I think. I think it does for me. What do you feel? Both of you. Does the translation work for you?
Yeah, because the second one, the pure formless, it's kind of you are in it.
Yeah. More
First
like
one's a
saying
little bit more
this is my
conceptual.
own awareness. The whole point of this is to get you to identify with this ultimate pure formless awareness of perfect love we call God, the ultimate awareness behind everything, and accept that that is your awareness. It's the same awareness, just because there's only one awareness. And so that everything you think is with that awareness, in that awareness. I changed with to in. It's happening in that awareness. All of your thoughts happen in that awareness. If they really happen in that awareness, then they cannot be in any way harmful, in any way hurtful, harmful, destructive to anyone, because this awareness is only beneficent. It's only life-giving. So if you can accomplish this, and it does take a lot of mind training, because unfortunately our mind, our awareness has become polluted with another thought system, the ego's thought system, that tells us the opposite, that actually destruction and pain and suffering and sickness and death are real. In fact, they're inevitable. And therefore, you need to live in a state of fear, and sin and guilt and anger and attack, and all these things are justified because this is now your new reality that you've decided on, and the world confirms that to you. So these lessons are designed to just undo that default ego programming, really make you connect with this awareness in a deeper way, which is why we do the translations, because I think it connects you more deeply than the original. Obviously, it's different. Everyone's going to have a take on it. If you prefer the original, then use the original. That's why I include it. But if the alternative works for you, then use the alternative. Because it's really about the words giving you an experience. It's not the words themselves that do anything. The words point you to an experience of truth.
Yeah.
And whichever words bring about that experience better, those are the words you should use, right? Because it's the experience that's really doing it, not the words. So if the original words work better for you, great, use them. If the translated words work better for you to bring you into the understanding of and the experience of this, then use the alternatives, which is why I've given the alternatives, so that you have an alternative. If this doesn't really do it for you, then try the alternative, and maybe that does subtly. You go, oh, okay, that makes a bit more sense. I'm getting it, and it connects me with the experience it's pointing to more directly, which is the point of the words. Okay. So having said all that, Kim, if you want to read number 1, paragraph 1, please.
Today's idea holds the key to what your real thoughts are. They are nothing that you think, just as nothing that you think you see is related to vision in any way. There is no relationship between what is real and what you think is real. Nothing that you think are your real thoughts resemble your real thoughts in any respect. Nothing that you think you see bears any resemblance to what vision will show you.
Okay. So thoughts on that? What's he saying?
So the thoughts that we are thinking in this, well, it's illusion, but what we think are real is actually not real. They're not related to true vision in any way. So it's really turning it upside down. And that in terms of what the thoughts that go through our mind continuously are not the real thoughts. They are nothing, is what they're saying. It's we think that they're real, but they're not, and they're not actually our thoughts. The vision is something else than what we think.
Yeah, vision is true perception. So you could translate vision as true perception, which maybe I'll do next year. So include that as part of the translation. So it's a true perception of the world. And he's saying that vision, that true perception based on truth, has absolutely nothing to do with your current set of thoughts, your thought system. You thinking in the ego, dualistically, I'm a separated entity, I'm a body with a personality, with all the various things that go along with that, body issues, and I feel victimized and threatened by the world, and I've got various unresolved problems, traumas, emotional issues, and so on. All of those thoughts are nothing. Those have no resemblance to your real thoughts, which are coming from pure formless awareness of perfect love. And those have a different kind of quality, don't they? Transcendent quality. And so we've got to learn to discern the difference between the thought systems. So if you're thinking with the Holy Spirit, those thoughts have a different energy, a different feeling, different vibration, if you like, completely to the ego. And they are what we call inspiring. You'll feel uplifted, you'll feel positive, you'll feel inspired. The beauty of the Holy Spirit is it can still think specifically. You could be thinking about, let's say, doing something in the world, a new idea, a new project. As I said, relaunching this program, that's an example. You want to write a book. Kim, you were talking about maybe doing a blog site. But the quality of the thought around that, if it's coming from the Holy Spirit, which is just a remembrance of this perfect love, is going to be very different from the egoic thought. And we've got to learn to discern that difference and celebrate the Holy Spirit's version of it. True inspiration is a lovely feeling, and know what that feels like compared with, the ego has its own motivational system, which motivates you to do things, but not for the right reason. You're motivated by a desire, either a fear or a desire. Fear of missing out, fear of losing something. I want to move away from something, so I'm going to do this, or a desire for something more, to say, well, if I do this and this and this, I'll be more complete, I'll be more fulfilled. So I'll go and do that because then I'll be in a better state. Rather than coming from a place of abundance in you, which is saying, actually, I am that I am, and I'm already all complete and fulfilled, and I'm now inspired to act by the Holy Spirit in this way, out of that completeness and that fulfillment. And I'm just going with the flow and letting the Holy Spirit guide my actions without any specific outcome in mind. That's inspiration versus motivation. Ego is saying, well, you're going to do this because you want a definite outcome. You want a specific outcome, which it values. It says, well, when you get that outcome, then you're going to be happier. You're going to be a happier person. You're going to have more status maybe, but it takes whatever and translates it into, oh, well, then you're going to be in a better state. You're going to be better off, even if we're not. As many Hollywood celebrities will tell you, they go and they chase the fame, they chase the dream, and they achieve it, and then they're not actually better off. They find that they're worse off, and they're really not happy, even unhappier than they were when they were pursuing it, because at least then they had the illusion that this was going to work. And when they got there, then they would be happy. But now they've arrived there, they realize they're still not happy. Then what do? Then they sink into despair, and what goes along with despair is, dysfunctional behaviors like addictions and so on, which we know really well in that Hollywood environment. Many so-called stars fall prey to those because they hit a point of despair, and they're like, well, what else do I do to feel decent but take a drug or alcohol or have some experience or something to get me out of the depression. Okay, so any other comments on paragraph 1? Happy to go to number 2. I think given this one as an alternative, do you want to take turns reading? So switch it around. So Elaine, you read the original,
Yeah.
one sentence at a time, and then Kim, you read the alternative after Elaine's read each sentence.
You think with the mind of God.
Okay, then Kim, you come in and read
Okay.
number 2 down there in the
You
gray
think
below.
you think with pure formless awareness of perfect love.
Therefore, you share your thoughts with him as he shares his with you.
So therefore you share your thoughts with it, and it shares its with you.
Yeah, they are the same thoughts because They are thought by the same mind.
They are the same thoughts because they are thought by the same awareness.
To share is to make alike or to make one.
To share is to make alike or to make one.
Nor do the thoughts you think with the mind of God leave your mind, because thoughts do not leave their source.
Nor do the thoughts you think with pure formless awareness of perfect love leave your awareness, because thoughts do not leave their source.
Therefore, your thoughts are in the mind of God as you are.
Therefore, your thoughts are in pure formless awareness of perfect love as you are.
They are in your mind as well, where He is.
They are in your mind as well, where it is.
As you are part of His mind, so are your thoughts part of His mind.
As you are part of its awareness, so are your thoughts part of its awareness.
And then read it from the top, Kim, in the alternative.
You think with pure formless awareness of perfect love. Therefore, you share your thoughts with it as it shares its with you. They are the same thoughts because they are thought by the same awareness. To share is to make alike or to make one. Nor do the thoughts you think with pure formless awareness of perfect love leave your awareness, because thoughts do not leave their source. Therefore, your thoughts are in pure formless awareness of perfect love as you are. They are in your mind as well, where it is. As you are part of its awareness, so are your thoughts part of its awareness.
Okay. So any thoughts about that? What's he saying there?
So your true thoughts are one with God, or pure formless awareness of perfect love. They're the same as pure formless awareness of perfect love. They've never left awareness because they don't leave the source, i.e. pure formless awareness. So they've always been there. Therefore,
They
your
happen
thoughts
within
are.
it. I think that the big, for me, the big point that he's making is they happen within this awareness. You think with the mind of God means that all of your thoughts happen within this greater awareness we call pure formless awareness of perfect love, or God, which is peaceful, is beneficent, is abundant, is powerful, is all these things. So your thoughts then take on those qualities. So you can think in specific terms. The Holy Spirit allows you to do that. So you can still be thinking about the world and situations happening in the world and so on. But you're now doing it from a perspective of this pure formless awareness. It's all happening from there, which is critical. So if we have a look at this Holy Trinity diagram, it shows it quite well in diagrammatic form. So where we are thinking, we're not thinking in any sense of what we understand thought to be if we're at this level 1, Ken Wapnick called it. This is just a pure awareness. There's no dualistic thought. There's no subject-object thought at all here. It's just an isness. It's a beingness that simply is, and it doesn't think dualistically at all.
Mm.
So that's the ground of being, as some philosophers have called it. The base awareness, the what you can't go beyond. It's like when you drill down and you go down as far as you can into the mind and into reality, you hit this awareness, and there's nothing beyond it. So this is God, ultimate, fundamental, foundational awareness, and there's many names for that, as you can see here. But thought, as he's talking about it, happens at another level. So we now have this true self, or a higher awareness. We can call that the Son of God, or the extension of perfect love, the Christ in Christian tradition, the Buddha, Buddhist tradition, the Atman is a Hindu term, soul, whatever term you use. It's a self-concept that is derived from this being. It happens within this, so it's not separate from this awareness, but it can think and perceive the illusion. So it can look on all of the things in time and space, and all the experiences and the circumstances and situations and everything that happens in this red box. But now it has a different perception of it. It thinks differently about it. It interprets it differently. And therefore, all of this perception is happening within pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is what he's making the point of in this lesson. So the true self and its true perception, it's called Christ's vision, happen within this awareness. If you go outside of this awareness and you deny this awareness, then you're in something else. That's the ego. Then you're in another awareness which is disconnected and has nothing to do with this awareness or the true self or the higher awareness that derives from it. And it has nothing to do with then true perception or Christ's vision. It is the opposite then of all of that, which is why the ego is completely opposite to the Holy Spirit and the Holy Trinity, and needs to be undone, because you cannot think egoically and also be thinking in the Holy Spirit with this within this awareness, pure formless awareness of perfect love. It's not possible. As soon as you think egoically, you go outside of this awareness. In fact, you deny this awareness. You're actively trying to deny it and destroy it in your mind through this other awareness that you're now believing in. And that, of course, is the whole issue. That's the split in the mind. Which awareness are you in? Which thought system are you in? Okay, so it's a recap of what we've already covered, but hopefully that's helped you to just see it maybe in a slightly different light and see how this all fits together, and that how this fundamental awareness then translates in our world into this higher awareness, or which leads to true perception or Christ's vision. That's where the ideas of letting go and flowing, forgiveness come in. And that's where the course is directed to facilitate that kind of a transformation. So from being in the ego's thought system, we change our mind, and now we start perceiving truly. And we have Christ's vision, and miracles start happening. We let go, we find our flow, we forgive, we accept, we surrender, we're saved, we are following the plan of the at-one-ment, we're judging correctly, right-minded judgment, which leads to the last judgment on the ego as being completely pointless and useless. Second coming, all of this is also called enlightenment, satori, rebirth, resurrection, awakening, grace, transformation, intuition, guidance, healing. But these are all imply an element of transformation. Do you see that? There's something that's shifting and changing, which is why they're at this level and not at the top level. And some teachers will make the mistake of saying, oh, well, this is all wrong because actually there's only love and there's only level one, and you just need to kind of bliss out here because this is the ultimate truth. Yes, but you have a process to get there. Without changing your mind and correcting your perception, you will never, ever get there. So this going from here to here is essential. Moving from being egoically identified in the dream with your separate self and moving through via true perception or Christ's vision into identifying with your true self is absolutely essential. And that's what the course facilitates. It's mind training is designed to help you to do that. So that now you're thinking within the mind of pure formless awareness, and that starts to happen by default. These kinds of thoughts coming from your higher awareness that are derived ultimately from pure formless awareness of perfect love just start to happen naturally. And that's when we start getting to the higher levels of spiritual development, growth, and awakening. When this becomes our natural default state, we don't have to work so hard at it anymore and have vigilance against the ego. It's become second nature to us. That's ultimately where we want to get to with all of this mind training. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Any comments or questions on that? Elaine, you happy with that? Looked at it before.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, should we go on to number 3 then? So just switch it around. Kim, you read the original sentence by sentence. Elaine, you read the alternative, and then read the whole alternative paragraph once we've done that.
Where then are your real thoughts?
Where then are your real thoughts?
Today we will attempt to reach them.
Today we will attempt to reach them.
We will have to look for them in your mind.
We will have to look for them in your mind because this is where they are.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see the comma. It was a full stop. They must still be there because they cannot have left their source.
They must still be there because they cannot have left their source.
What is thought by the mind of God is eternal, being part of creation.
What is thought by pure formless awareness of perfect love is eternal, being part of being. From the top. Where then are your real thoughts? Today we will attempt to reach them. We will have to look for them in your mind because this is where they are. They must still be there because they cannot have left their source. What is thought by pure formless awareness of perfect love is eternal, being part of being. So it's just one asking us to attempt to reach our real thoughts rather than our egoic thoughts. So we need to bypass or go past, not bypass, go past all the, well, silly, false, illusory thoughts and reach our thoughts from pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is eternal, which is part of our being.
This is why we've got to letting go is so important, because if you've got a bunch of false thoughts that are obscuring your true thoughts and your true awareness, the only remedy is to let go of the false ones. This is why letting go of forgiveness is so critical. Because if you carry on thinking in that false thought system, you'll never know your true thoughts and your true awareness. So it's a very simple idea, but to actually do it consistently is the practice. And to start knowing, the discernment to know, okay, I know that this is false now. I'm thinking these thoughts, but part of my mind, the Holy Spirit, knows that these thoughts aren't real. Now, this is all part of this illusory thought system that's enslaving me. And I realize that I'm enslaving myself right now as I think these thoughts. That's when forgiveness starts to really happen, doesn't it? Because then you're questioning those thoughts from the start and say, well, maybe these thoughts just aren't real. So why am I bothering to think these thoughts then when they don't even exist? And all they're doing is kind of confirm that I'm a separate person doomed to suffer and die and be in hell. And actually they don't exist. Why would I do that to myself? That's when forgiveness really starts to work. Because you just start awakening, realizing how incredibly stupid the ego's thought system is and how stupid you've been to follow it.
Don't
And
come.
I say that in the nicest way because you have to realize the insanity of it to awaken. You don't self-flagellate and say, "Oh, I'm so stupid," and no, you just realize, okay, well, I've been an idiot, but I can change. You know, I can see the error of my ways and I can change that. Okay, so any other thoughts on that? Number 3, happy with that?
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, let's go and do number 4 then. Instructions. So can read that. So let you read the original.
Yeah.
And you read the alternative.
Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea.
Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea.
We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real.
We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real.
We will deny the world in favor of truth.
We will deny the world in favor of truth.
We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back.
We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back.
We will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what God would have us do is impossible.
We will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what pure formless awareness of perfect love guides us to do is impossible.
Instead, we will try to recognize that only what God would have us do is possible.
Instead, we will try to recognize that only what pure formless awareness of perfect love asks us to do is possible.
And from the top, Kim.
Our 3 5-minute practice periods for today will take the same general form that we used in applying yesterday's idea. We will attempt to leave the unreal and seek for the real. We will deny the world in favor of truth. We will not let the thoughts of the world hold us back. We will not let the beliefs of the world tell us that what pure formless awareness of perfect love guides us to do is impossible. Instead, we will try to recognize that only what pure formless awareness of perfect love asks us to do is possible.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Saying that with the practice periods, the 3 practice periods, it's the same form as yesterday, but it's similar to applying yesterday's idea, which was around the light. We'll attempt to leave the unreal, i.e. our world that as we think we know it in the ego form, and seek for the real that's going within. So it's denying what we perceive in favor of the truth, which is also within the mind. And even in the mind, we won't let our thoughts that we are accustomed to hold us back, nor will we let our beliefs hold us back. Believe we're the opposite of what the truth is telling us that what is guiding us by pure formless awareness is impossible, meaning the ego will say, no, that's not true. You're limited, whereas this is limitless. So we'll attempt to recognize what is really the truth going within, with pure formless awareness, of which whatever it asks us, i.e., anything, is possible.
Yeah. To expand our thinking, essentially, and say, actually, only that is true, and the ego, which I thought was true, is completely false. So it's a massive exercise. This is not, something that's going to happen overnight, generally, because you can be reversing your previous thought system and undoing everything you thought you knew, which is why the course is so radical. He's saying that's the only way, because you've got your entire thought system predicated is based on a lie. So your entire life is a lie. And you've got to start at the level of the lie where it plays out in your world, and you've got to start denying that to correct your mind and start accepting the truth, which is why we practice forgiveness and letting go over and over and over again. Because forgiveness is the denial of the lie, saying the lie isn't true, and I accept then that only the truth is true. And that's the way that you correct the lie. You start believing in the truth. And you move from perception in an illusion to knowledge of the truth by doing that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything to add, Kim, Elaine? Happy with that?
Yeah.
Just highlighting, the radical, and this stuff is, you read it and like, okay, what he's asking you to do is a major turnaround. Absolutely, complete 180-degree turnaround from the ego. So that's where the course is different from many other parts. Many other parts take the egoic thought system and then they just try and say, all right, well, we're just going to tweak it and we're going to adjust it and we're going to make it a little bit different. And we'll use that thought system to get you what you think you want. So take a typical personal growth kind of course or program book will say, right, so, it assumes that the world is real, it assumes that you're real, that you have these various fears and desires and wants, and it often encourages, well, go for your desires. That's going to make your life better. If you want to make money, if you want a business, if you want a better relationship, set your goals and take some action, make it happen, because when you get there, you're going to be happier. And that's quite seductive, as we know. But it's predicated on a false idea that you are a separate self who's lacking, who's wanting, who's needing, and now by pursuing the desires of that separate self, you can find happiness. And it's an illusion. You never will, because you pursue one desire, even if you achieve that, often you won't. You get disappointed. But even if you do achieve that, you'll find it still won't satisfy you because it's the false desire. You haven't found the perfect happiness you thought would be yours because there's still problems in your life. And those problems will never go until you correct the fundamental problem, which is the idea that you're a separate self, which is what he's trying to train us to do through the exercises, to correct that one fundamental problem that every human being has, the belief that they're a separate self and therefore a body. Okay, so that's good preparation. That brings us to the actual practice, which I think best done in a meditation, really. I'll guide you through this.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
let's
Good.
let's actually go through the experience of it. And I'll read, there's a few other bits to read, but I'll read that to you as you're in the meditation. And then yeah, given that'll take us to about 9 o'clock UK time, 10. Shall we call it there after this med?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Let's do that then. Let me just start a new recording. Okay, so this is a meditation on today's workbook, lesson 45. Just making yourself comfortable, putting your phone on mute. Kim, I'll just mute you. And sitting comfortably with your feet shoulder width apart. Keep your back straight, cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises. And the subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Clench the sphincter muscle. It's the muscle used to contract the flow of urine or squeeze the last drops out. To lock the energy in, just draw this energy up your spine, to your heart center, up into the crown of your head. Pausing at the top of the inhale. So just repeat today's idea in the original and the alternative form. Say, God is the mind with which I think. Alternatively, pure formless awareness of perfect love is the awareness in which I think. Breathe in on that. Draw the energy up into the crown of your head. A maximal full inhale breath. At the top of the inhale, just pause and spend a little bit of time thinking about a few relevant thoughts of your own, just keeping this idea in mind. So you might say, perfect love is my only awareness. My thoughts happen in perfect loving awareness. My thoughts can only be loving and kind because they come from loving awareness, and so on. Whatever comes to mind, just let those thoughts come to mind. You might be quite surprised at actually what does come to mind, because it demonstrates your inherent understanding of the course. Then add, repeat the main idea again. God is the mind with which I think, or your formless awareness of perfect love is the mind, is the awareness in which I think. Your formless awareness of perfect love is the awareness in which I think. Then add to, that my real thoughts are in my mind. I would like to find them. And then try to reach past all the unreal thoughts that cover the truth in your mind and reach to the eternal in you. This is the source of your being. That is the source of all being, every sentient being. And you're reaching to that. You're asking to go down and in. You're sinking through past a heavy cloud of insane thoughts. Sinking deeper and deeper. Breathe in to help you just deepen into your mind. It helps you can think of yourself actually sinking inward toward the center of your being, where God, or your true awareness, pure formless awareness, perfect love, abides. Sink in with an attitude of confidence and a sense of the importance, value, and holiness of what you're doing. You can exhale and just let go of any seeming resistance to this, any distracting thoughts, any obstructions that come into your mind. Just going to consciously blow them away with the breeze of your breath. Just blow them out to the nothingness that they really are. Gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Rest in the sense of peace. Perhaps you have a sense of being in the light, approaching or even entering into light. And you might just want to repeat the idea occasionally to re-energize your focus or draw your mind back from wandering. It's breathing in and out through your nose, normally and naturally. Breathing in. Repeat the idea. Feel like you're breathing in this higher awareness. Repeat the idea, God is the mind, which I think, or pure formless awareness, perfect love. It's the awareness in which I think. So this awareness is primary, and the thoughts are very secondary. Thoughts don't dictate anything. Thoughts can't really do anything. And if you succeed, you'll feel a sense of peace, perhaps a sense of approaching or even entering into light. So breathe in again. To just facilitate this, imagine that you're breathing a pure white or golden light into every pore, every cell, every muscle. It's going deeper and deeper with each breath. Observe the breath flowing into your nostrils and out of your nostrils. Sinking inwards, going deeper and deeper. It just says, and all the senseless thoughts and mad ideas that you've cluttered up your mind are the thoughts you thought of God or pure formless awareness of perfect love in the beginning. Right? These are your original thoughts. It's an original awareness. So these thoughts are in your own awareness now, completely unchanged. They will always be in your awareness, exactly as they always were. So try and get a sense of an awareness that is unchanging, that is not related to your current life situation, circumstances, problems, or what's going on in the world at the moment. That is a deeper awareness, something that is totally transcendent. It's this foundation, says Yeshua, toward which the exercises are directed. So your awareness joined with pure formless awareness of perfect love in this place or state. Here are your thoughts, one with its. So breathing in again and just really embracing all of this. So only one thing is really necessary for this kind of practice. Approach it as you would a foundation dedicated in the state of pure formless awareness to perfect love source. and its extension. Such is the state, place. You might be unable to realize how high you're trying to go, but just try and feel it rather than trying to understand it intellectually. Even with the little intellectual understanding you may have gained, you should be able to remind yourself that this is no idle game. Attempt to reach the state of pure formless awareness, which is the ultimate state. This is Yeshua refers to as the kingdom of heaven, state of pure formless awareness. And then just experience this. There's nothing else to do, nowhere else to go, nothing else to think about for the next couple of minutes. So allow yourself to experience this awareness, this source, this holiness as an experience. You're not trying to fake that experience or make that experience happen or interpret that experience. Just allow yourself to experience this awareness. Say one more time, God is the mind in which I think, or pure formless awareness of perfect love is the awareness in which I think. Then you drop back into this awareness. Just allow this awareness to be dominant in your mind. Just allowing it to step forward and do whatever it needs to do. Just give you whatever experience you need to have right now for the next 2 or 3 minutes of deep silence. So just breathe, relax, breathe in and out through your nose, watch your breath flowing into the nostrils and out of the nostrils. Noticing it just keeps your mind in a calm, quiet state. Sinking inwards and downwards to the state of pure formless awareness, kingdom of heaven, Yeshua calls it. That is yours. It's always there. It's never gone away. Any thoughts come up, just notice them. Find yourself that trying to reach your very source of your being. It's a very profound, holy exercise. So let go of any distracting thoughts, blow them away. The breeze of your breath. Release them and just blow them away with the breeze of your breath. Dark clouds or black smoke, leaving you just going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine, expel the last remaining air out. And just rest in God, rest in this deep, peaceful state. Awareness, this state of pure formless awareness, as alternative language calls it. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to think about. Just pure awareness of what you are, arising in your mind and just being you, without conscious thought for the next couple of minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back now. You're going to bring your awareness back into the body by the breath, senses, into the world. Ground yourself back to this seeming reality, all the world, on the count of 3, and then you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. And pause at the top of the inhale. scan your mind, just noticing any thoughts going on, and remind yourself that God is the mind of which I think, or pure formless awareness of perfect love is the mind, is the awareness in which I think. And just these thoughts are out of accord with that awareness, just blow them away. Exhale. Count of 2, have a sense of releasing them. Letting go with the breath, blowing it out like a dark cloud or black smoke out of your mouth, out of your body, out of your energy system. They're going, gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Expel the last remaining air out. Notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Noticing what you're feeling and touching. Your hands, maybe there's a subtle flow of air on your skin. Notice that sensation. You breathe in again. Notice the smell in your nose, taste in your mouth. Notice what you're hearing. In the surrounding environment, notice what you're feeling in the body, touching, tasting, smelling. But without judgment, there's just an awareness. You're not interpreting this sensory feedback, this data, it's just is what it is. So you're what's called equanimous in the Vipassana teaching. No judgment, just able to observe without any judgment. And that puts you in a very, very peaceful state of mind. Notice how peaceful this frame of mind is. So we're going to open your eyes on the count of 3. Just take a minute to look around, observing various objects in the room around you. And from this awareness, remind yourself as you look around, God is the mind in which I think. Pure formless awareness of perfect love is the awareness in which I think. And notice how this awareness is everywhere. Whatever you're looking at, whatever you perceiving, whatever you're thinking about, comes out of this deeper awareness, which is very peaceful. This deeply peaceful fundamental awareness, and called the peace of God that surpasses all understanding, the ground of being, and many other names throughout history. But there is a fundamental ground of being or awareness, which is your own awareness. And that's what we're asked to get in touch with. So, and experience that, perceive that underlying everything you look at, whether it's a wall, or a computer, or a phone, or your own body, or another body in the area. Doesn't matter. It's the same. These are just symbols of an illusion of separation. Underneath those symbols lies the one and the same awareness, which is what you are, what your awareness is. There really isn't anything else. So just think that, remind yourself of that. Say the lesson one more time. God is the mind in which I think, or pure formless awareness of perfect love, is the awareness in which I think. Connect with that feeling. You want to anchor the state and this feeling in to your awareness for the rest of the evening, so that you carry on in this very calm, peaceful, surrendered way, and all your experiences just flow in this awareness. All your thoughts, experiences, words, perceptions all happen within this awareness, which we call God. That is what it means to be awakened or enlightened in this world. And you can do it right now. There's nothing stopping you from doing this and experiencing this right now and for the rest of the evening. Which is my wish for you, that you experience a very peaceful, connected, and flowing evening. And tomorrow and the rest of your week. So that brings us to the end of the meditation and of today's session. So thank you both for joining, and we'll see you again soon, I hope.
Thank you, Jono. Namaste.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, that was very peaceful.
Yeah, good. Hope that's set you up for a good rest of the evening, or sleep if you're going straight to bed. And just stay in this awareness. It's really simple, isn't it? The course is just pointing you into a deeper awareness, but to stay there isn't simple, because the ego is always trying to pull you out of it.
It is, yeah.
Some
Yes.
other
Mm-hmm.
thought system.
Yeah.
That's where the practice comes in, just reminding yourself over and over that this awareness is where you're home. This is the awareness you choose. You want no other awareness, because anything else by comparison is insane. It makes no sense at all. When you can have this deeply peaceful awareness, why would you choose anything else?
Yeah.
You just realize that it's a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep choosing
Thank you.
right-mindedly. Thank you for joining, and I will see you both again next week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jono.
Yeah, thank you very
Right.
much. Good
All
night,
right.
everyone.
Good
Namaste.
night. Bye.
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 Bye for now. Okay, so that is a wrap for today. Thank you to Elaine and Kim for joining. If you enjoyed the live session, then by all means subscribe to the channel. You'll be notified whenever we go live, which is typically 3 or 4 times a week. It's been a little bit less over the last couple of weeks because busy putting in some work to rebrand and market this program. So watch this space. You'll see some videos running a masterclass on the 30th of April. If you'd like to know more about that, just go to lifepool.com and you can sign up there to receive my daily messages in Telegram, where I give the daily quote and some resources around the quote, the daily workbook lesson from A Course in Miracles in its original and translated form, and yeah, a lot of other value, as well as notifications about these kinds of live events. You can join them in Zoom and the webinars and anything else connected with the art of letting go. So go to lifepool.com, sign up, and hope to catch you on the inside of the group and maybe of the webinar soon. So yeah, look forward to connecting with you. Thanks for listening and watching, and namaste, which means the awareness in me, the true awareness, higher awareness in me, honors that same pure, formless awareness in you. And wishing you much love, peace, and joy in that awareness. Let it be the only awareness which guides your thoughts always and in all ways.